Hi, I'm Christian from EV2Power. We're a relatively small company, but dedicated to enabling people to take power out of their vehicles rather than charging them up. So we're going to be talking about these two units shortly, the Setec power stations. But before I do that, I just want to talk a little bit about the history of electric vehicles and using them as power stations. So back in 2010, late 2010, Nissan launched the Nissan Leaf with a 24 kilowatt hour battery as standard. And when they adopted the CHAdeMO charging system, so this one here, so where you plug it in and you for fast charging, plug it in the front of your car. And the good thing about CHAdeMO is that it's bidirectional. So in other words, you can take power from the battery as easily as it is for charging up the battery, so that it can go two ways. And this means that the car can be used as a mobile power station with the right equipment. Nissan did produce a power station and demonstrated it several times, and you could see it being used in Japan to charge coffee stations and stalls and so on. And in 2012, I think it was, there was a big disaster, the Fukushima earthquake and tidal wave and so on, and they sent over 62 of their Nissan Leafs to operate as mobile power stations or emergency power for hospitals and so on. And it just demonstrated the potential. And they kept kind of, us in Europe were continually waiting for this equipment to come over and become available. And for some reason, it never was. And so we've now been able to source these straight from the factory at Setec and making them available for people in the UK. So, but a quick Q&A session really on these. So people will say, well, if I use it to power something at an event or my home or whatever, won't I be left with a flat battery? Well, no, thankfully. These are designed to talk to the electric vehicle and will turn itself off when the battery level has reached 35%. So you will never be left with a car that's got less than 35% of its battery capacity. So you can be stranded with a flat battery and so on. So the next kind of question that people ask is, will it? I've got a vehicle, but it hasn't got a CHAdeMO connector. Will that work? I'm afraid not. At the moment, CHAdeMO is the only one that enables bidirectional charging. Some of the other manufacturers are starting to look at it, but at the moment it has to be a CHAdeMO for this to work. Other questions that people tend to ask is, will it damage my battery? Well, battery technology is still quite new and still developing, but what is known is that what's bad for a battery is to be completely and utterly discharged, charged up to 100%, down to zero, charged 100%, down to zero. That will limit your battery life. What batteries do like is to be charged up to around about 80%, down to about 30% and back up again and so on. And there's some really interesting research which I'll put in the a link to down in a minute, is that it actually is better for a vehicle to be charged up and down slowly and so on. Better than just leaving a car standing there without anything. So there are some benefits to gentle in and out. So do we think this is going to damage your vehicle? No. As I say, because it only pulls power relatively gradually. You know, when you're driving a vehicle doing 60 miles an hour, you're going to be drawing far more than the 6 kilowatts that the big one here can draw. So it'll be gentle power out, it won't take it down to less than 35%, so there's no reason why it should damage the vehicle. Will it void the manufacturer's warranty? Possibly. So you need to look at the small print of your manufacturer and see whether it voids their guarantee. I've plugged it into mine, it's not caused any problems, and so on, but I will leave that matter for you and so on. Are these suitable for powering home? Well, they are, but it's really essential that you get a qualified electrician to do that. I have connected the big one here to my home, and I've got a special wiring that basically cuts off the house from the grid and then reconnects to a separate power supply. I fitted that years ago so I could power the house from a generator. But it's important that you have an electrician to check it over and make sure that it does that. What you don't want to do is start to send power up into the grid where there's been a power cut and you've got poor old engineer up a pole getting a shock. So it's really important. So, but it can power a house, but be really careful and make sure that it's all properly certified and done properly. I particularly wanted these to be able to power events, so sound and lighting and festivals and parties, etc., in the middle of nowhere, where normally I would be using a diesel generator making a lot of noise, smoke, etc., and using fossil fuels, etc. I was always wanting to get one of these to be able to have a green event where we're not using fossil fuels. The power gets charged up through solar panels on the roof or through people like Ecotricity, where it's a green electricity, and then will be driven to the venue and used as a power source. So what other questions do we have? I think that's about it for now, but do put questions below. I'm now going to show you these machines and tell you a little bit about them. So this is the 3 kilowatt version. It's got 2 sockets at the back, so you can plug in your typical British 13 amp plug and put 2 of them in there. This lead will get plugged in at the back of the unit in here, and you plug that in and then plug the other end into your car, turn it on, okay, and a little blue light comes on. It communicates for 5-10 seconds, so let it do that, don't rush it, and then you'll see blue light go on and back off again, and nothing then, and then I'll show you outside in a minute, and then press start, everything starts going, and a few seconds later the green output light here comes on with a few beeps beforehand to warn you that power's coming out, and that's it. Simple as that. There's an emergency shut off in case you can see that the light comes on, and to disengage that you always forget how to do it. There we go. You twist it and pull it back out again. So 3,000 watts. So if you're already using equipment that's up to 2,000 and then you plug in something that needs a lot of power to get going, you might find that it overloads it. If it does, you'll hear an alarm sounding and it'll cut itself off. It will reset itself. It's all pretty straightforward, and you get an alarm going. If you're worried about power and how much you're going to be using, then go for the big one, the 6 kilowatt one. That's the one I will be using at events and so on. So I'll just turn the power off, move that to one side. It's quite heavy. It's that one is 18 kilos. This one's quite a bit more. It's about 23 kilos. And let me bring him over here. So there you go. So yes, I've really enjoyed this. It's been very reliable, quite powerful, and as I say, it's been able to power my house, and it'll run a washing machine, it'll run the cooker, kettle, not all at the same time, so you need to kind of do a quick working out, but happy to run the washing machine with all the other lights on, the computer on, the TV on, all at the same time, and it handled that just fine. it doesn't want to run the cooker and the kettle and the washing machine all at the same time, then you get the alarm coming on and it'll turn itself off. It will, both units will, if it's coming close to, let's say you're up to 5,500 watts, it'll beep at you to say, it gives you the heads up that it's near its maximum. So it gives you a warning to knock it down. So, and now this one is slightly different because it's more powerful. So as soon as you turn this one on, yes, they've got an internal battery down here, a 12-volt rechargeable battery which recharges itself when it's running. They both need that power to be able to communicate to the vehicle. This one, unlike that one, the fan comes on as soon as you turn it on, so good. Okay, and then a secondary fan will kick in again as well when it's actually got power going. It's not terribly noisy, a lot quieter than a generator, any generator that I've ever seen. So there we go, and again, same thing principles. So you can see the light on there, and I'll show you outside in a minute. So 32 amp power supply, you'll get about 30 amps, 6,000 watts. That's about it really for that one. I think it might be time to go outside and demonstrate these. So I'll take you outside and take you to my old Nissan. Oh yes, I know a quick question that people ask, I'll just turn this off, is how long will this work and how long will my battery be able to charge to keep going? So, well, it all depends obviously on how much electricity you're using, what you're powering off it. But let's use an average house as an example. So stats will tell you that average house will use 8.5 to 10 kilowatt hours per day. My old Nissan Leaf outside is a 24 kilowatt hour battery, so that's what it's got in there. As I say, it's about 5-6 years old. I checked the state of health as it's known. I'll show you how to do that a bit in another video. But it's been well looked after, and it's now got 92% of its life of the charge. So let's say I can put 20 kilowatt hours of electricity inside the battery. This will draw the power from the car up to 35%. So when you're down to 35%, it'll cut off. So that leaves you, if my maths are right, 65% of 20 kilowatt hours to play around with, which is 14 kilowatt hours. So if it was powering a normal average home, it should last a day and a bit, or a day and a half, is roughly how long it would charge it for. So quite useful for if you have a power outage, everybody else hasn't got any electricity, you've got your electric car out there, you can plug it in and power the house, as long as you've had it properly certified by an electrician that is safe to do so. Okay, I can't emphasize how important that is. Okay, but if you've got equipment that you're going to plug straight in, so if you want to plug your fridges in, etc., that's fine. Right, I think time has come to go and have a look at the vehicle and see these in operation. So I'll see you in a minute. All right, so we've now come outside so we can demonstrate the unit in operation. So this is the 3000 watt version that we're going to look at first of all, and I'll just show you how it works. So first of all, you get this end bit here. Let me show you in more detail. So that's the unit that's going to go in to the front of the unit. Nice solid clunk as it goes in. And now we take the Chademo bit and we will plug that in. Okay, nothing happens at first. Well, in fact, nothing happens until I turn it on. So I'll turn it on. Okay, first you get a little blue light coming on there, and then it turns itself off. So don't think, oh, it's not working. You need to turn it on and press the start button. Okay, and then it'll communicate, and then you see the blue lights appearing where you would normally see them for charging. Here bleeping, that's saying that power is about to come out, so it's a warning to say power is about to come out. So now we're just going to do a quick load test. So I've got a 2000 watt radiator here to bring us up quickly to to a good level of power. And I'm going to plug that in here. Okay, again, turn that on. Okay, so that's drawing roughly 2,000 watts as it's just getting going. Now here I've got some theatre lights, and I use theatre lights because they're very thirsty. They use about 575 watts each, so that will take us near to the, or will take us to the limit of the capacity of this unit. So here we go. I'm going to plug in one theatre light. Okay, and there we go. Nice, very bright, but not LED light, so it's sucking out a lot of power. Now I'm going to plug in the other one, and I'm expecting that this is going to take it over its 3,000 threshold, because we've got 2,000 on the radiator, 575 on that bulb there, and I'm going to plug this one in. Let's see what happens. Here we go. So that one comes on. But it's sensing that this is a bit too much for the machine. It's bleeping away, telling me it's likely to turn itself off in a minute because it's too much draw for the unit. And so we'll just wait and see what happens really. Both lights are on, so we're roughly at about 3,000 something watts, maybe just under. And it's beeping away. There we go. It's turned itself off and the alarm is sounding. So it's not the end of the world. I'm just going to turn the unit off. Okay, everything just resets itself. I'm going to unplug a couple of these theatre lights first of all, just to get it going again. Turn the unit back on again. See that blue light coming on quickly again. Okay, and then we'll turn it off. There we go. So that's now ready to go. It's been talking to the car, ready to go. Press the blue button, and that'll communicate with the car, and off it goes. So we'll see the radiator it's beeping away as a warning. Turn that on. Okay, and if I want to plug in a light, someone's coming, and there we go, and then turn the other lights back on again, and we're back to where we were before. And we think it'll run like that all day. If it's running, let's say it's running nearly 3,000 watts, so that's 3 kilowatt hours. As we said earlier on, we've got about 14 kilowatt hours to play with, so it should be able to run like that for, well, 14 divided by 3, which is nearly 5 hours. So there we go. And then to turn it off, we just press the button here. That will turn off. It'll turn that second. There we go. Off it goes. Done. Now I'm going to bring out the 6,000 watt version and do a similar kind of load test, and we'll see how that goes. Again, so now we're going to demonstrate the 6,000 watt unit. So I've already plugged in, as we did with the other one. So we're ready to go. So I'm going to turn it on. This one, the fan comes on straight away. Talks to the machine. I'm just waiting for that little light to come. Well, it's come off already. So that's it. That means it's spoken to it. I'm going to press the start button. That little blue light comes on, and then the main lights come on the board, in the car. Then I'm going to wait for this to beep. So there we go, it's beeping. And then the green lights come on, saying that it's producing the power. Now, because this is a 32 amp socket, I'm going to plug this in to the distribution board down here. So it's a 32 amp to 4 lots of 16. And I'm going to plug the first lot in, which has got the radiator and 2 lights, so that will go straight on. If you won't have any problems, just go straight on. Turn the radiator on. Okay, I've got another distribution panel here, so I'm spreading the power a little bit to come out of the other one, and then that's giving me another light. Here we go, another light. So that should be to about 3,500 watts, something like that. Now, I've put it together like this so you can see how much power it's drawing. Now, there's a very useful app that you can get, and a little dongle thing that you can put in the in a Nissan Leaf that tells you how much power it's got left and so on. I'll show you a little video slightly differently, but here is the reading, and hopefully you can see that. This figure here keeps changing, but basically it was going up to about 4,000 earlier on, and it's just telling you roughly how much power is being drawn out of the vehicle. The down here you can see how many kilowatt hours I've got left in the vehicle, and also state of health and so on. You may not be able to see it that well. I'll take a closer video and do another one. But along here you can see all sorts of other things. Don't worry about them all being red. But down here you can see the state of health of my vehicle is 93.4 actually. So it's quite healthy battery for its age, which is about 5-6 years old now. And also here you can see how many amps it's drawing down in the bottom right hand corner. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see all that. Anyway, I'll make a different video for there. But there we go. That's the Leaf Spy with a little dongle. But I'll make a different video about that. So I hope you've found that interesting, and I'll see you inside in a minute. I'll just turn this off. Here we go. I'll turn that off. Here we go. The fan stays on until we turn the power off. Here. There we go. Bye. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that interesting. If you've got any questions, either put them in the comments or just visit our website, which is EV2Power.co.uk. And there you'll see where you can either rent these machines or you can buy them. Quite often we suggest that, why not hire it out for a weekend and then see if it all works for you, and then you can buy it later. We're quite confident that is. We can make sure it's working for you. If you want to, we're based down in Wiltshire, not far from Stonehenge. If you want to bring your vehicle down and see if it's going to work with you, with your vehicle, that's fine. It should do. If it's a Nissan Leaf, it'll be fine. If it's a Mitsubishi Outlander, should be fine. And several others. There's a list we can provide on the website as to which one's available. So do visit us at EV2Power.co.uk and you'll see some more information there. Thank you very much.